Hello everybody. With hindsight of the shared videos on F-22 testing for BMS 4.38, I would like to add some complementary information on this current activity. I'm a member of the Other Fighters Mafia third-party modding group, which used to produce add-on theaters for Falcon BMS with custom databases. The OFM group lost a key member in December of 2024 and has since been struggling to go ahead. Timely constraints and my own projects took precedence for me and prevented me from getting this started, the revival of OFM theaters for BMS 4.38. The current activity builds on top of the EF2000 Delta mod and has been expanded. It's still work in progress and I cannot provide any exacting details beyond the F-22 at the moment. The F-22A Raptor is being transferred from the OFM database at version 2.60, but not one-to-one. The external and cockpit models and textures remain unchanged, with the addition of a second texture set. Model and texture numbers have been revised in line with the policy introduced for EF2000 BTO and Delta, taking future growth into account. Duplications of textures have been avoided, reducing the overall number of textures. There are otherwise no visual changes, but the bug on the cockpit wings model concerning odd flaperon positions is gone. One key change impacts the number of stations and the station sequencing. The objectives of this exercise were: 1. Separating the main base stations to permit a single JDAM or up to 4 SDB bombs to be loaded in addition to an AMRAAM. 2. Ensuring that the weapon bay door animations correctly correspond to the internal stations. 3. Ensuring that stores can be jettisoned from the external wing pylons. These objectives have been satisfactorily achieved. The flight model is based on the default one included in BMS 4.38, but has received some minor updates, ensuring that the aircraft doesn't depart from controlled flight and its roll authorities are increased at high angles of attack. Other changes of the aircraft data file concern avionic changes, adaptation of the store stations, increased countermeasures loadout and the fuel leakage model from OFM. Mass and fuel load data have been updated to match publicly available information and there have been some alterations of the radar signature and radar performance data. Weapon loadouts have been matched to real-world loadouts, with the AIM-120D pending for implementation into the database. For the improved handling of the external store stations, corresponding rack and rack group entries have been created within the BMS rack DAT file. This essentially concludes the transfer to and development activities of the F-22 for BMS 4.38 for the time being. The focus will now shift to other aircraft modifications, which will involve the cockpit updates recently shared for the FA-18, F-15E and AV-8B and additional updates to existing aircraft and the transfer of some new aircraft from OFM 4.37 to 4.38. For the time being, completing these development activities is prioritized to lay down the foundations for a new OFM release for BMS 4.38. A one-to-one transfer of all OFM assets from 4.37 to 4.38 is not envisaged by me though, due to the lack of time and other priorities. The focus therefore lays on key assets that add value and are manageable from a time and workload perspective. I intend to document certain changes and share progress on this in future videos, albeit not necessarily every single will be covered by those videos. Any further expansion, or addition of other features is also subject of contributions from other OFM members and the community in general. The BMS modding tutorial series will be continued, once the key development activities are finished for the OFM 4.38 compatible release from my side. I intend to document certain changes and share progress on this in future videos, albeit not necessarily every single will be covered by those videos. Any further expansion, or addition of other features is also subject of contributions from other OFM members and the community in general. The BMS modding tutorial series will be continued, once the key development activities are finished for the OFM 4.38 compatible release from my side. If an opportunity emerges, videos may be produced on a ride-along basis. The next videos planned will focus on instant action and dogfight game mode implementation of aircraft in BMS, as well as a chapter on store stations and racks. It should be noted that the work on the EF-2000 aircraft will also be included, as far as possible, options are being provided to achieve full coverage of the scope. As this may compromise other aircraft, the intention is to keep some of these features optional. All 5 EF2000 variants from the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain and Austria are now fully implemented by default, neglecting the need to turn existing variants into others, albeit it may compromise maintenance somewhat. Dependent on the outcome of the OFM project for 4.38, EF2000 Delta might be discontinued as a separate mod and its work instead continued under the OFM umbrella. Some minor additional work on the EF2000 has been started and will continue, once aforementioned work is done. This will also impact EF2000 Retro for BMS 4.37, for which another small update is being prepared. Best regards. Scorpion 82.